Welcome to the party.
Hey, what's up, meatballs? Mr. Meathook here. So, welcome to the 3,295,763rd most popular channel on YouTube. My name is Daryl. I'm also known as Mr. Meathook. Today, I'm packing up to move. I'm moving from California to Michigan, and I've started to pack up my movies. So I figured what better time to just show off all my movies. There's a lot. I have an addiction to buying movies. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started, because if I don't, this will take forever. So gonna start with, I said A, but it's numbers. There's not a lot. There's only a few with numbers. Starting off with 13 Teen. Then we have Two-Headed Shark Attack, 420 Massacre, Against the Night, the Alien Quadrilogy. Of course, this is Alien through Alien Resurrection. We got Alien Covenant. Then we have American Guinea Pig, Song of Solomon, American Guinea Pig Bloodshock, American Guinea Pig Sacrifice, American Guinea Pig Bouquet of Guts and Gore, American Horror Story Season 1, also known as Murder House, American Psycho. Useless fact, this is the first Blu Ray I ever bought. American Reunion, An American Werewolf in London, Anchorman, The Legend of Ron Burgundy, Angels and Demons, Annabelle, Annabelle Creation, Annabelle Comes Home, Antibirth, Apartment 143, The Apparition, Army of Frankensteins, not to be confused with Frankenstein's Army. As Above, So Below, which people are hot and cold on. Some people love it, some people hate it. I love it. Ash vs. Evil Dead, the complete series. The Atoning, WWE Attitude Era. This is a fun one. The Arrow release of Audition. The Autopsy of Jane Doe. This is a really good one right here. Both of the Alien vs. Predator movies. Babysitter Massacre. Backwoods Bubba. Bad CGI Sharks. This is actually available for streaming now. It's got a different name. It's been changed to Sharks! Exclamation point, or Shark! Exclamation point. I think Bad CGI Sharks was a better name. Sometimes they change the name for streaming services to a better name that is more marketable. Bad Milo, the Banana Splits movie. I love this movie. So fun. Bangin' Vengeance, the Basket Case Trilogy, The Barber, The Barn. This was a pre-release version signed by a bunch of the cast and crew, including Linnea Quigley and Ari Lehman. Baskin. I've not yet seen this. I've heard good things about it, though. This one is a wonderful movie that everyone should see if they haven't. Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon. Behind the Walls, The Belko Experiment. This is one of very few Blumhouse movies I actually like. That is basically Office. If Office Space and Battle Royale had a baby, it would be The Belko Experiment. Benny Loves You. I haven't watched this yet, but I hear really good things about it. I'm excited to check this one out. Big Trouble in Little China. Bitter Feast. Birdemic Shock and Terror. I haven't opened it yet. However, I've seen this movie several times. I love it. It's a really good, bad movie. I mean, it's fucking terrible. Don't get me wrong, that is not a good movie, but I really enjoy it for how bad it is. The Black Dahlia Haunting. Black Metal Veins. That is a mockumentary about heroin addiction. It is soul-wrenching. The blaxploitation horror classic Blackenstein. The Vestron release of Blood Diner. Got Blood Feast. Blood Fest. This was a fun one. Blood Harvest. Blood Rage. One of the few, there's not a lot, it's one of the few Thanksgiving horror movies out there. Body Melt. The amazing Bone Tomahawk. If you guys haven't seen Bone Tomahawk, check it out. The Kickstarter edition of Bone Hill Road on Blu Ray. Yes, there's a Blu Ray of Bone Hill Road. If you were a Kickstarter. Well, not Kickstarter, it was Indiegogo, but still. The Bounty Hunter. The Boy. Bride of Reanimator. A Brush with Death, and Harvest of Fear. I just have it as the first one that's on there alphabetically. This movie's bonkers. This is Bunny the Killer Thing. It is about a killer rabbit with a giant penis that helicopters it and then rapes people to death. Like, to death with his giant penis that he helicopters and then tears them apart. It is bonkers. The Burning. The Bye Bye Man, autographed by, I forget the actress's name. She's in Terrifier also, though. Cabin Fever, Patient Zero, which is, if you haven't seen it, it's a prequel to Eli Roth's Cabin Fever. Call Girl of Cthulhu, a really fun, no-budget, sleazy movie by Chris LaMartina, the same gentleman that brought us the WNUF Halloween special. 2021's Camp Murder by Mark Polonia. Of course, the, in my opinion, best horror movie of the 90s, Candyman, which is followed shortly behind by Audition. One of my favorite horror movies of all time. One of my definite favorite from the last 5 years. We got Karis Hell from 2016. Karis Hell the Second. I've seen it. I know my copy is still sealed. I have seen it. I was sent a screener link. I watched the streaming version. I did help kickstart it, or kickstart Indiegogo. GoFundMe, whatever you want to call it. I helped crowdfund it. This was the copy I got for doing so. The classic Brian De Palma film Carrie, and another version of Carrie. The second one was, the previous one was sent to me long after I already had that first one. Chernobyl Diaries. I really enjoyed this one, but I know some people don't. And I really enjoyed this one. Is it as good as the original? No, but I kind of view it as its own thing. It's more of a modern take of Child's Play. I dug it. If you hate it, I can understand why. But I dug it. This one's a lot of fun. Chillerama. Chips. One of my all-time favorites, Chopping Mall. One of my favorite Christmas movies of all time, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. This is Chupa. It's about the Chupacabra. Signed on the back by producer J.R. Bookwalter. There are, I think, 200 copies of that only. Okay, then we have the pre-release version of Circus of the Dead, signed by the director Billy Pond. Says Daryl, tastes like slut. Then we have the director's cut mainstream release of Circus of the Dead that was put out by Dread Central. City of Ghosts. Clickbait. The French film Climax. I haven't opened this one, but I have seen it. It's a wonderful film. Definitely check out Climax. The Blu Ray release of Clownado, signed by a bunch of the cast and crew. Contamination Point 7, aka Crawlers, aka Troll 3. Well, one of the two movies that are called Troll 3. The Conjuring with lenticular slipcover. The Conjuring 2. Crawl. I saw this one in the theater. I really enjoyed this one. The original George Romero classic, The Crazies. And the remake of The Crazies. And I'm going to cause some controversy here. I enjoy it more. Nothing wrong with Romero's, but I think the newer one is better. The Crystal Lake Memories, which is a 7-hour documentary on the Friday the 13th series. Creepshow 2. Yes, I have Creepshow. It's on DVD. I don't have it on Blu. I also have Creepshow 3. Cult of Chucky. I love this movie. I think it's one of the better ones in the franchise. I will fight you on that. This movie, there's only 50 copies of. I'm pretty sure that the movie was never actually finished, and this is just all the footage they filmed, put into a somewhat linear version, but I don't think it was ever actually finished. It's called Curvaceous Corpses. Okay, we got A Dark Song. This was my favorite movie of 2020 that was theatrically released, The Dark and the Wicked. Unfortunately, because of the pandemic that happened in 2020, it didn't get a very big release. The Darkness with Kevin Bacon. I haven't seen it. I hear it's shit. I don't know. It came in horror pack. The Dead Inside. It's a really ambitious shot-on-video movie. I didn't buy this. I wouldn't have wanted this. It came in horror pack. I don't like this movie, but we got the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Typical Zack Snyder bullshit. Got the debut film of the Soska sisters. Dead Hooker in a Trunk. Please don't cancel me. I know they're terrible, but I own the movie. We got Dead in Tombstone. Dead Again in Tombstone. Got Dead Life, Wormwood's End. This is one of my favorite, very low-budget zombie movies. This was filmed in 1986. I believe it was released in 88 or 89. Got The Dead Next Door by J.R. Bookwalter. This movie was financed at least mostly by Sam Raimi under the pseudonym The Master Cylinder. Filmed on Super 8. Super fun. It was filmed for about 80 grand, but I love it. It's really fun. Deadly Crush. Deadly Playthings. Deathbed, The Bed That Eats. We got Death Escort Service. Then we have Taste Me, Death Escort Service 3. I have 2 on Blu Ray. It's around. I'm sorry, I have 2 on DVD. It's already packed up. I already packed up my DVDs. If you guys want to see my DVDs, I'll do a video of those once I've moved. Death Warmed Up. The classic piece of shit Demon Wind. Where honestly, the cover is better than the movie, but I'm glad they kept the lenticular cover for the Blu Ray release. Deep Web XXX. On the bright side, there's only 1,000 copies. On the downside, the movie kind of sucks. I guess I can't say it sucks. It wasn't for me. Devil, one of the few movies that M. Night Ramalama Ding Dong is involved with that I enjoyed. Digging Up the Marrow by Adam Green. This I just picked up at Dollar Tree the other day. I was glad to get it for $1. Dinner for Schmucks with Steve Carell and Paul Rudd. Sorry, Distorted. Django Unchained, which is my favorite Western of all time. Dr. Sleep. Dog Soldiers. Disclaimer, I don't have any of my steelbooks included in these. I've already done a video for steelbooks. I'll put the link right here if you guys want to check it out. Dolly Deadly, signed by Heidi Moore. This was a very early horror pack exclusive. This was, God, like number 8 or something like that. There's only 800 of these. It goes for a lot of money. Got the Vinegar Syndrome of Dolly Dearest. Then we have, and I helped back the sequel to this, we have Don't Fuck in the Woods. The Donald Farmer Collection, Volume 1. Yes, the same Donald Farmer that made Shark Exorcist. Don't Breathe. I have not seen the second one yet. I hear it's good. I hear there's also problems with it. I don't know. I'll judge for myself once I see it. Don't Knock Twice. Bram Stoker's Dracula. The Dracula Legacy Collection from Universal. This has my favorite comedy of all time on it. It's got Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein. That movie's like going on 75 years old, and it's still hilarious. Drag Me to Hell. The limited edition Unearthed Films release of Dreaming Purple Neon on Blu Ray. This is my favorite Todd Sheets movie. I love that movie. I've got like 3 different copies of it. The piece of shit classic Drive-In Massacre. One of the best horror comedies you've probably never seen. Dude Bro Party Massacre 3. There's no 1 and 2. That's part of the joke. Dylan Dog Dead of Night. I know nothing about this. I haven't watched it. I popped it in one night, pushed play, and fell asleep immediately. Nothing to do with the movie itself. I was tired. We got Easter Bunny Bloodbath. Criterion Eating Raoul. The Echo. The Editor, which is directed by, I forget the dude's name, the same guy that directed Father's Day and Psycho Gorman. I liked Father's Day. I hated Psycho Gorman. So I guess we'll see what I think of The Editor when I finally get around to watching it. Elf, which is one of my favorite Christmas movies. Elizabeth Harvest. Elysium. Evil Dead 1 and 2. The 2013 Evil Dead. The extended cut of the 2013 Evil Dead. A movie called Beyond Darkness, but it was released very briefly, only through pre-order, as Evil Dead 5 by Severin. This movie here is hilarious. My fiance and I watched this and we fucking loved it, so I had to grab it. That is Exorcism at 60,000 feet. The movie that I personally feel is the most underappreciated movie ever made, and that is Falling Down with Michael Douglas. This movie is incredible, but I think it's a little too real for a lot of people, so they don't like it. Okay, and the unreleased Fantastic Four, the one from, I think it's 1993. It was made for like $100,000 just to keep the rights. Never technically released. This is just a really good VHS transfer onto a Blu Ray. Fatal Premonitions. The Fear Footage. The Fear Footage 2, Curse of the Tape. The Fear Footage 3 AM. Final Caller, which is the newest Todd Sheets film. Really enjoyed this one. Came out at the very, very, very end of last year. Final Destination 5. I actually don't have 1 through 4. I do enjoy 5 though. Love the ending of it. Cronenberg's The Fly. The Fog and the Howling 2-pack. This one here is some of Henenlotter's best. We got Frankenhooker. Friday the 13th Part 3D. I do have the Scream Factory box set, but all my box sets are already packed up, so I can't show any of those off. Fright World. This is a fun early 2000s shot-on-video movie that was filmed at the Scream Park Fright World. Full Metal Jacket. The Funhouse. This is one of my favorite movies from the 80s. It's my favorite from 1981. The Gallows, which I haven't personally seen. I've heard that it's pretty damn bad. The Garbage Pail Kids movie. Garden Tool Massacre. Ghost Rider with Nicolas Cage. I don't care what anyone says. I like this movie. And before anyone asks me, why don't you have any of the MCU on DVD? I have the entire MCU with the exception of the ones from this year. But I have all of phases 1 through 3 on 4K. So I don't have any of them on Blu Ray. The Girl Next Door. Godzilla. Godzilla King of Monsters. Good Neighbors. Gorotica. Gore Theater. The Greasy Strangler. Gretel and Hansel. Grim Places. Of course, Grindhouse, Death Proof and Planet Terror. Love both of them. Loved all the fake trailers. This is the one of two, I guess. One of 2 bootlegs in my collection. I typically am not a fan of bootlegs, but with this, the originals run $60 to $80 a piece, and for 6 movies, that gets really expensive really fast. So I have a bootleg of the entire Guinea Pig collection. An underrated Halloween classic, Hack-O-Lantern. Hangman, which I started to watch this and I fell asleep. Nothing to do with the movie itself, I was just tired. Got The Hollow. Halloween. I have Halloween 3 as a steelbook. Those are the only Halloween movies that I own because they're the only ones that I like. Hancock, yes, it's flawed, but I dig it. Hansel and Gretel. Hansel and Gretel Get Baked. This is 2 movies from an 8-movie saga. I have the rest on DVD, so that's why I only have 2 on Blu. Got Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, and Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1. Hatchet 3. Haunting Inside. I have not yet watched this one. It's directed by Henrik Kudo, the same gentleman that directed Babysitter Massacre, which I love. It is signed by him. The Scream Factory release of Hell Night. I think this is underrated. Unfortunately, if you guys haven't seen this, the transfer, it's not that good because there's just not good original source materials available anywhere. So they did the best they could with what they could find. Hellfest. Henrik Kudo's Backyard Legacy. This is a collection of a bunch of shorts that he made when he was a teenager. There's, I want to say, about 30 of them on here, of varying quality. Some are fun, some are really bad. All of them, the acting's really bad because it's just a bunch of teenagers making a movie. So, you know, you get what you get with that. Hellraiser 4, 5, 6, and 8. Apparently there's an issue with the rights for Deader, which is 7. So, yeah, this doesn't have it. Hot Tension, aka High Tension. The Hills Have Eyes, Part 2. I have Part 1 on DVD. I'll upgrade it eventually. Hobo with a Shotgun. Now, this started out as a fake trailer for Grindhouse in Canadian theaters, and they ended up making an actual movie out of it. The classic Hollywood Chainsaw Hookers. The Horseman, which I've not seen. Hostel 1 and 2. I don't own 3 because 3 is gobshite. Will Ferrell and Amy Poehler in The House. House 2. I do own House, but it's on DVD. This movie right here is super underrated. The House on Cuckoo Lane. If you can find this streaming somewhere, check it out. The Blu-ray's long sold out. There may be a DVD of it, though. House of the Flesh Mannequins. This movie, I haven't watched yet, but it's made by the same guy that made Red Crocodile, so it's gonna be gory as fuck, I'm assuming. The House is October Built. I don't own the second one because it sucks. House of a Thousand Corpses and the Devil's Rejects. House of Forbidden Secrets. This is signed by Ari Lehman, who has like a 30-second cameo in the movie. But he was so excited to see it because he had never actually seen a physical copy of the movie that he also signed the discs. So I got 3 autographs for the price of 1 because he was just excited to see it. House Shark. Love this movie. This one is signed by a bunch of the cast and crew, as well as on the back. This movie's stupid, but I love it. It is my favorite bad shark movie. Howl. The Human Centipede, the complete sequence. It's the whole trilogy. I'm not going to rewatch the third one because the third one is fucking awful. The Vinegar Syndrome release of Ice Cream Man. Ideal Home. If you haven't seen this movie, it could be streaming somewhere. I'm not sure. It's a really good, really low budget Christmas movie that takes place post-apocalypse. It is called I'm Dreaming of a White Doomsday. This was streaming on Prime last year around Christmas. I don't know if it still is or not. I really enjoyed this. It also has Damien Maffei, who is the devil in Haunt and the man behind the mask in The Strangers Pray at Night. Incarnate. Have the Spanish release of The Incredible Melting Man. I got the Spanish one because the American one is out of print and super expensive. It is region free though, so yeah, you can still watch it. The Invisible Man. The Innkeepers, which is super underrated. That is my favorite Ty West movie. It Chapter 1. This was the Target exclusive lenticular. The Horror Pack Vinegar Syndrome release of Jack Frost. This one wasn't available for very long. It got pulled really quickly. We have Jaws 5, Cruel Jaws, It was only available with the slipcover of Jaws 5 in pre-order, and then shortly after the main release came out, Universal forced Severin to pull it. So it's not easy to find. This is I think Finnish, really? I think it's a Finnish movie. I don't remember, but I think it's Finnish. Jaws of the Shark. This movie is bonkers. It is about a shark with arms and legs that wields a chainsaw to kill people. So it is cuckoo bananas. Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Johnny Gruesome. Joyride 3. I don't own 1. I've never seen 2 or 3 yet. I'm going to try watching it and see if I need to have seen part 2. I don't imagine so. I imagine they're self-contained stories, all dealing with the same type of thing. This movie's awful, but I think it's hilarious because I have seen it before. Jurassic Dead. Jurassic Park. 3D Blu Ray. Killer Pinata. This movie is ridiculous. It's cuckoo bonkers crazy, but I love it. The cheesy 70s horror movie with William Shatner, Kingdom of the Spiders. If you've never seen this, it's great. The wonderfully hilarious Kingpin with Woody Harrelson and Randy Quaid. Kiss of the Damned. Kong Skull Island. 2 different versions of Krampus. This movie is super underrated. I think everyone should check this out. It's got Jackie Chan. It's a Bollywood, also martial arts movie. It's part Bollywood, part martial arts. Talking about Kung Fu Yoga. This movie is wonderful. Silly at times, but it's Jackie Chan. What do you expect? Last House on the Left. Leatherface. I know it's terrible. I still think it's better than The Next Generation, but it's definitely one of the lower ones in the franchise. Life Changer. Lights, Camera, Blood. Livestream. This movie's stupid, but I think it's hilarious. We got MacGruber. And this one I've never heard of, but I picked it up at Dollar Tree. It's The Machine. Maggie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Malignant, starring Brad Dourif. Speaking of Brad Dourif, I just finished watching the season finale of Chucky Season 1. Freaking loved it. Got the 3-disc Blue Underground version of Maniac. This is a wonderful transfer. Maniac Cop. Meat Market 2. I saw this in the theater and I loved it. It's ridiculous, but I don't care. The Meg with lenticular cover. Mexico Barbaro. This is one of my favorite bad movies of all time. It's so stupid, but it's hilarious. Got Microwave Massacre. Another one that's stupid, but I thought it was also hilarious. A Million Ways to Die in the West. The Mind's Eye. This one I haven't checked out yet. I saw the first one in the theater, and then this also contains the Korean movie that the original movie was based on. We got Mirrors 2. It does have the Korean movie that the Mirrors with Kiefer Sutherland was based on. The Scream Factory release of Misery. The Mist, which is one of my favorite movies. This movie is wonderful. Model Hunger. Monster Dog by Claudio Fragasso starring Alice Cooper. This movie, it's so bad, and I don't care. It's amazing. I rented this on VHS back when I was, I don't know, 12, 13, something like that. It came out in 85, so I'd have been 10. So yeah, probably 12 or 13. Loved it. Still love it now. It's awful, but I don't care. Monty Python's Holy Grail. Got Murder on the Orient Express. Michael Ironside, who is fantastic in Mutants. The classic slasher, The Mutilator. This is one of the few remakes that I don't necessarily think it's better than the original, but I think it's a solid remake. I got My Bloody Valentine 3D. This isn't like your 3D TV type 3D. This is the Anaglyph 3D with the little paper 3D glasses. But it came with 4 pairs, so that's awesome. Got the classic awful slasher, which has been called by some people the worst slasher of all time. I can't fight with them, but I love this stupid movie. I own 5 different copies. We got Nail Gun Massacre. This one is the Code Red release. Also have the 88 Films release, Naked Cannibal Campers. This was the, not Kickstarter, the GoFundMe version. Might have been Indiegogo, I don't remember. One of the two. National Lampoon's Class Reunion. This movie's awful, but it's goofy, and I loved it as a kid, so it does hold some nostalgia for me. I definitely saw it earlier than I ever should have, though, because it's not appropriate for like the 8 and 9 years old that I saw it at. Neighbors with Seth Rogen and Zac Efron. Nightmare Vacation by the late John Polonia. One of the best movies of all time. If you disagree with me, I mean, that's your opinion, but you're wrong. Got Night of the Creeps. Night of the Demons 2, which is a solid sequel to the original Night of the Demons. And this movie is terrible. It was marketed in Italy as Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, even though it's more of a ripoff of Nightmare on Elm Street. Got Nick Killer. Got No Country for Old Men. I love this movie. I saw this in the theater. Happy that it won the awards that it did. Should have won more. Now You See Me. Now You See Me 2. Once Upon a Deadpool. Now, if you're not familiar with what this is, Once Upon a Deadpool is Deadpool reading basically a book version of Deadpool 2 to Fred Savage on an exact replica of the set of The Princess Bride. And it's PG-13 rather than rated R, so it's kind of safe for the kids. Not that Deadpool would be. Got Ouija, Outpost Black Sun, Outpost Rise of Spetsnaz. What I don't have is Outpost, unfortunately. Ozploitation Massacre, which is not a movie in and of itself. It's 4 or 5 Australian shorts compiled in a collection. Patriot Games, Pazookas Island of Vomit and Despair, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. Who doesn't love Pee-wee's Big Adventure, right? One of the best comedies of all time. In my opinion, it's also Tim Burton's best movie. Got Penny Pinchers, which is a wonderful. This movie is fabulous. It is a documentary about no-budget filmmakers. It's got Chris Seaver, Todd Sheets. I know Tim Ritter's on there. There's some other people. Lloyd Kaufman, Phil Herman. Unfortunately, it's got an interview with Dustin Ferguson, who I don't like his movies. They're all awful. Phantasm, because of course, it's the only one I own. No, I don't have the other 4. It's exactly what you think it is. Pieces of Talent. Piranha, the remake, which is ridiculous. And then even more ridiculous, we have Piranha Double D, Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of a Black Pearl. I don't own the other 4. In fact, I've never seen the 4th and 5th ones, but I love the first one. I thought it was really great. And as someone that grew up at Disneyland, because I'm from Southern California, tons of Easter eggs for the ride. President's Day. Up next is another one of my very few criterions. It is one of the greatest movies of all time, The Princess Bride, and I love that it's actually a book. Prison of the Psychotic Damned. Prometheus, because I had to have all of the Alien movies, even though Prometheus is not very good. Psycho Killer. The Purge Election Year. I have the rest of them on DVD, except for the most recent one. I forget what that one's called, but I don't have that one. The Pyramid. Ready or Not, which was a whole hell of a lot of fun. It's actually pretty good and a whole hell of a lot of fun. If you've not seen Ready or Not, you are missing out. The Reef, which I hear is good. I've never actually watched it. Repo, the Genetic Opera.
Zydrate comes in a little glass vial.
A little glass vial?
The Resident, with Hilary Swank and Negan, Jeffrey Dean Morgan himself. Resolution, Return of the Living Dead. I think this was the original Blu Ray release. And of course, I've got the Scream Factory release as well. Return of the Living Dead Part 2, which a lot of people don't like, and I don't understand that. Sure, it's not the same as the original. It's a much more comedic tone to the point that it's practically slapstick, and for some reason it's rated R, even though really it could almost be PG-13. But yeah, I enjoy this movie. Return to House on Haunted Hill. I don't own House on Haunted Hill. I wish I did, but I don't. But this was fun. There's an option on here to basically do choose your own adventure type thing, where different scenes in the movie it'll pop up asking what you want to do. Do you do this or that? And then the movie turns out different because you did those things. Like certain characters can live the entire movie, or they can die when they didn't die in the original movie. Got Return to Nukem High, signed by Lloyd Kaufman. The Right, with Academy Award winner Anthony Hopkins. The Road Warrior, the original RoboCop, and this is the uncut director's version that had all the gore taken out. It's been put back in. I mean, why would I not have Rocky? Rotten Tail, which just adds... I have a lot of bunny horror. Don't ask why. I just happen to have a lot of bunny horror. This adds to that collection. Some people hate this movie, and I get it, because they say it's stupid, but it also tells you right at the very beginning of the movie exactly what to expect. You got Rubber. Savage. Savage Vows. Scarecrow County. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. A Serbian film. The Shape of Water. Shark Night. Sharks of the Corn. Yes, that's a real movie. That really exists. Sharks of the Corn is a real thing. The Shawshank Redemption. Got She Kills. Fun flick right here. If you've never seen it, you should check it out. Sheets of Gore, Volume 1. This is a collection of Todd Sheets' shorts from whenever he was a teenager. Also some videos on there from his band Dissension. Volume 2. Shin Godzilla. Showgirls. Silent House. Silent Night, Deadly Night. The Sinful Dwarf. Slaughter Drive. Slaughterhouse. Slaughterhouse Slumber Party. Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp 2. I unfortunately don't have Part 3. Slime City and Slime City Massacre. Slither. Slumber Party Massacre. Slumber Party Massacre 2 and 3. Snuff Tape Massacre. Society. Some Kind of Hate. Son of Devil. This is actually Indian. It's from India. And the language, I believe, is Hindi. Not positive on that, though. Could be any number of the Indian dialects. But yeah, I think it's cool that it's an Indian horror film. Sorority Babes on the Slime Bowl Bolorama. If you've never seen this, it's a hell of a lot of fun. Got Hal Havens, Linnea Quigley, Brink Stevens, Michelle McClellan, the classic Spaceballs, Space Cop, which is a full-length comedy film made by the guys at Red Letter Media, home of Best of the Worst, the remake of Stage Fright, Star Trek V, The Final Frontier, Star Trek First Contact, Stay Tuned. If you've never seen this, this is a fun one right here. John Ritter, Jeffrey Jones, Stonehurst Asylum, Storage 24, Strawberry Estates. This is a very early Ron Bonk shot-on-video movie. Street Trash. That's a classic right there. I can't get enough of this stuff. Enough is never enough.
Enough is never enough. Enough is never enough of the stuff.
The Sum of All Fears. Super with Elliot Page and Rainn Wilson. Superman 3. I don't care what anybody says. I have fun with this movie. Is it bad? Technically, but it's super silly and I love it. Sushi's Sex Seance. I cannot show you the back of this because it's basically just boobs. Okay, it's more than just boobs. It's full frontal on the back, so yeah, can't show you that. Tales from the Hood. I love this movie.
Welcome to hell!
Shocking Dark, aka Terminator 2, as it was called in Italy. This is basically a ripoff of Aliens with some elements of Terminator in it. Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Terminator Genesis. Terrorvision and The Video Dead. The Video Dead is one of my favorite zombie movies. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. They Live. This Girl is Badass. This Is the End. Torment. This was a very limited production. I think there's about 1,000 of these. It was exclusive to Unearthed Films. It was on pre-order for 2 months, and that was it. There was no more after those 2 months. Tourist Trap. There is an uncut version out now, which I need to get, but this one has a lot of the stuff cut out for whatever reason. The Town That Dreaded Sundown. The Toxic Avenger, signed by Lloyd Kaufman. Trick or Treat. This is neither Trick or Treat with Sam or Trick or Treat with Sammy Kerr. This one's actually a thriller, not a horror movie. Trick or Treat. Trick. The legendary Troll 2. This is a triple feature with Scar, Terror Trap, and Midnight Movie. Midnight Movie is a really fun one that I really enjoyed. The other two I have not seen. We got Truth or Dare 2, Wicked Games. Truth or Dare 3, Screaming for Sanity. Those are both signed by Joel Wynkoop. True Grit, the remake with Jeff Bridges. Tumors, Dr. Nightmare. UHF, this is such a fun movie. I could watch this movie almost every day. Unfriended, Unsane. This is a super underrated movie. I don't ever hear anybody talking about this, and it's really, really damn good. Vampire Cop by Donald Farmer. The Velocipaster on Blu is actually very hard to find. This movie's ridiculous, and I love it. VFW, Vicious Sweet. Victor Crowley, the fourth Hatchet movie. I want to say, for the record, I hate this cover. The 2021 film Virus Shark. Yep, that's a real thing. Vivid. Haven't seen this one. Don't really know anything about it. The Violent Kind. Volumes of Blood. Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story. Walled In. Way of the Wicked. Werewolf, the Beast Among Us. Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And this one is a media book. The Wishmaster Collection. The Vivitch. The Witching Season. The WNUF Halloween Special. And I love that it's made to look like a VHS, but it is most definitely a Blu. Wolf Cop and Wolf Cop Returns. The Wolf of Wall Street. Would You Rather. Wrong Turn 2. The original Wrong Turn, for whatever reason, has never been released on Blu Ray. I don't know why. Wrong Turn 3. Wrong Turn 5. I don't have Wrong Turn 4. And the horrendously bad Wrong Turn 6. Zed's Dead, which is a movie that takes place during the events of Pulp Fiction. Zillafoot. Yep, that's a real thing. 3-disc edition of Zombie. Lucio Fulci's Zombie. The Splinter lenticular cover. I love this cover so fucking much. It's my favorite cover of any lenticular movie ever. Zombie 3, Zombie 4, and in case you're wondering where is Zombie 2, technically Zombie is Zombie 2. In Italy, Dawn of the Dead was released as Zombie. The movie released here as Zombie or Zombie Flesh Eaters was Zombie 2, and there's others Zombie 3, Zombie 4. Zombie Strippers. And finally, what collection would be complete without Zoolander?
The Derek Zoolander Center for Kids Who Can't Read Good.
What is this?
A center for ants?
How can we be expected to teach children to learn how to read if they can't even fit inside the building?
So guys, that's everything. That's my entire Blu-ray collection. It's a lot, and it's going to take a lot to move it, but whatever. Anyways, it's worth it. So, as always, guys, I want you to be cool, be spoopy, and support independent horror. Deuces.